Welcome to Whiskey and RPGs. My name is Solomon SK, and thank you for tuning in for another episode of MMO and RPG News Roundup. We have a lot of news to cover, so if you guys got your beverage of choice, let's cover the news together. Cheers to you guys. So the first bit of news comes from massivelyop.com, and I think this article did a pretty decent job in covering the actual event that took place. It reads, Desert Oasis, Black Deserts, Hashashin, new server types, PvP changes, and new regions. And if you didn't know already, I was selected to attend the Heidel Ball, one of the 200 for the North American region. And I'll have a link to that in the upper right hand corner in the cards. But all in all, they just basically gave us a jumping puzzle. That's it. So I ended up just kind of doing that while I was streaming the actual event itself. But in terms of the new class, it goes on to read that the studio just showed a slide and a very short preview of his abilities. The only action we saw of him was a short clip of him stabbing his curved sword into the ground, generating 3 black whirlwinds outwards in what looked like an AoE. And this is true, they showed us very little of it, but it looks like a really interesting class regardless. The Hashashin is a kind of demon slayer who manipulates the Valencian sands to achieve his combat prowess. Remember, the Black Desert got its name because of the sands composition, extremely tiny grains of black crystals. And another thing I wanted to add is that the console versions are actually going to get this class first before the PC versions. They said that they were very sorry about the consoles getting the content last before the PC counterparts, and this is their way of making things up for them, I suppose. So considering they don't even have the Guardian as of yet, as far as I could tell, or at least not the Guardian Succession, if I'm not mistaken. But correct me on that if I'm wrong. It does go on to say that there are going to be 2 different servers, seasonal servers and hard mode servers. So far, plan is to have a server where dark forces have begun to spread further inland towards Calphion, Serendia, Belanos, and are being empowered by this dark force, and this is with regards to the hard mode servers. As for the seasonal servers, basically everyone will start at level 1 with a fresh economy. At the end of the season, the player's account will get some rewards based on his or her progress. And again, there's more to this than that. There's certain restrictions and limitations, obviously, but yeah, this is just kind of giving you the gist of what's going on. As for PvP, they were saying profusely how sorry they were in terms of balancing out each class correctly, and they're still struggling, and they're really working on it, and so please be patient with them and whatnot, or at least that's what I remember from the streamed event. They're also adding a bounty system. Basically, a player gets killed, or if a player gets killed by another player out in the field, the victim can put a bounty on the slayer's head, which I think is really cool, because I know PKing can be a problem a little bit here and there. I don't have a huge problem or had a huge problem with it myself playing in the game, but if you are somebody who gets constantly ganked, well, here's your opportunity to do so, maybe especially if you're in the Ashura server, if I'm saying that right. And lastly, with the I still don't know how to pronounce that, Odilidia on its way to live server soon. We set on sights on new places we can visit. Some of these places mentioned include a high snowing mountain south of Valencia, also the homeland of the Guardian. Up to the north of Valencia is a fabled land of demons where the Hashashin carries out his mission. I've only covered a small amount, but I think these are the main points to take away from the Heidel Stay at Home Ball event. So yeah. And really quick from MMORPG.com in more Black Desert news, Black Desert Mobile adds a new region, raises the level cap as well. Black Desert Mobile has opened the gates to a new region called Valencia, and this is their sort of medieval, Middle Eastern region of the game. It goes on to read, the level cap has been raised from 70 to 75. Additionally, an alchemy stone crafting and synthesizing rate up event has begun as well, increasing the chances of getting abyssal grade alchemy stone and epic grade alchemy stones as well. Black Desert Mobile will also have 3 login events taking place over the next week and beyond, so you're getting a lot of goodies with this particular event. And from allchar.com, Cyberpunk 2077 introduces Bridget and other characters. So if you're trying to gobble up everything that is Cyberpunk 2077, this might be your cup of tea. CD Projekt Red has released a few short Cyberpunk 2077 character bios along with their pictures, offering more insight on the likes of Bridget, Placid, Sasquatch, Bug, and Dex. For example, did you know that Bridget's first name is Maman? That is something I didn't know, but yeah, I mean, if you really want to delve deep into the lore, the links down for this article will be down in the pinned comment section below. And in more Cyberpunk news, we head on over to PCGamer.com. Cyberpunk's 2077 Night City Wire livestream has been postponed. It goes on to read that the Cyberpunk 2077 Night City Wire reveal event was announced last month, and it's been delayed from June 11th to June 25th. Developer CD Projekt Red said that it remains excited to share more information about the game, but more important discussions are happening right now. We want them to be heard. And from Ultra.com, release date for Outworld's The Soroboreans DLC announced. I believe that's how you say it, but it goes on to read that the Soroboreans DLC for Outworld is just 2 weeks away, as Deep Silver and Nine Dot Studios confirmed that the release date is June 16th on 2020 on PC. Consoles will have to wait just a little bit more. PC players will be getting the DLC just in 2 weeks, but the consoles will have to wait until July 17th, and the DLC will cost $20 US. Corruption is a new mechanic that will affect players in different ways, and in case they don't get rid of it in time, it could spell their demise. So far, it sounds like much of the corruption in Conan Exiles, and I think that's a pretty interesting comparison. And from MMORPG.com, Albion Online's Night Challenge is back. The challenge will see the return of the giant horse. During the event, you'll be able to take part in various open world activities in addition to unlocking chests for loot and more. And from GamesRadar.com, looks like we'll be playing Minecraft's Dungeon First DLC, Jungle Awakens, soon. And it goes on to read that Minecraft's Dungeon's First DLC, Jungle Awakens, is expected to be released in July according to an update from developer Mojang. In this adventure, you enter a distant, dangerous jungle to fight a mysterious power in 3 new missions. To defeat the terrors hidden among the vines, you'll have to equip yourself with new weapons, armors, and artifacts at your disposal. And from Ultra.com, rumor Star Wars Project Maverick to focus on single-player content. And again, this is a rumor, so take everything with a grain of salt. But it does go on to read that according to the latest leak over at Reddit, EA's Motive's upcoming Star Wars game titled Project Maverick will strongly focus on single-player content with a small co-op and multiplayer mode. Apparently, it is mostly single-player with a small co-op multiplayer components, but nowhere near to Battlefront 2's online modes. There are 2 campaigns, the Empire and the Rebellion, and both are similar to Battlefront's 2 single-player campaign in terms of length. On top of this, the gameplay is pretty similar to Rogue Squadron's games, with addition of on-foot section being the normal Battlefront 2 first-person gameplay. Which is kind of weird because I did cover this, I believe 2 days ago, where the rumor also stated that you shouldn't really expect a AAA experience, so I'm kind of wondering what kind of game we'll get. So again, all rumors at the same time, regardless. And for MassivelyOP.com, Magic Legends progression includes account-wide unlockable traits. And it goes on to say that some classes will be withheld at the start, requiring players to unlock them through still unknown actions. The details of this progress will be given closer at release, although we can't imagine that class locking is going to go over well with the community. However, players will unlock a trait when it gets a class to maximum level and can then slot the large passive bonuses to any other class he or she desires. Traits are more than a boost, they're a crucial part of the player's loadout. A clever combination of traits, artifacts, and spells can create devastating synergies and bring home the power fantasy of being a planeswalker, Cryptic Zed. And really quick from Gematsu.com, Mary's Skelter Finale details Otsu, Little Mermaid, Thumbelina, Cinderella, and Zapping System. So if you are into dungeon crawling JRPGs, just know that you got some lore headed your way if you're into that kind of stuff. And from Destructoid.com, the first Pokemon Sword and Shield expansion arrives in 2 weeks, and I do apologize, it's cut off there on the right if you're watching on YouTube. But it does go on to read that if you fork over $30, you'll get the 2 DLC packs, one in quote-unquote June called Isle of Armor, and the other later this year called the Crown Tundra. New footage was revealed for both expansions, which showcased the return of some classic Pokemon, as well as a look at some of the expanded zones. We learned more about the 2 forms of Kubfu, a new Galar tournament, and a new recycling and rare suit mechanic as well. And the Isle of Armor is set to release on June 17th. And from MMORPG.com, Population Zero Play with Your Friends update is live. In the game mode selection screen, you'll see a play with your friends panel on the left. Clicking it shows you a list of your friends who are currently playing in the game. Upon selecting your friend, you can see their game mode and how long they have until their current mission ends. And I think this is really good timing considering the amount of people playing this game has been on the pretty significant decrease, unfortunately. I normally don't like to cover an announcement covering another announcement, but from really quick from PCGamer.com, Destiny 2 next chapter teaser confirms a June 9th reveal. The next big Destiny 2 update will be revealed on June 9th. In the short video, the studio provides a visual tease of the Loot Shooter's next chapter, which features Eris Morn. I'm saying that, if I'm saying that right, trudging through the frostbitten landscape that fans have speculated is Europa. And from Destructoid.com, Xenoblade Chronicles Definitive Edition smashes into the top spot of the UK charts. And I'm personally really glad to read something like this, considering Xenoblade for me is a franchise that I really enjoyed over the years. I'm not sure if it's exactly as old as Final Fantasy, but it's a really awesome JRPG, and to see so many fans really enjoy that game to this day, it really, yeah, it's pretty awesome. And from MassivelyOP.com, Dual Universe outlines Alpha 3.1's updates to visuals, warp drives, resurrection nodes, and tutorials. It goes on to read that the podcast is little over an hour's worth of new details, with discussion about improved visuals, including new textures for materials, some new decorative elements like fuel intakes and hatches, an engine that introduces unique atmospheric conditions, and a large number of improvements to the new player experience, like a location of a tutorial area. I'm not sure if that's a typo, but yeah, lots of new things coming to this game, and quite honestly, it looks really impressive. I'm excited about what kind of stuff they are producing. And sticking with MassivelyOP.com, Sea of Thieves improves accessibility options and hit registration for ranged weapons in the latest patch. It goes on to read, in the most recent patch, those improvements include some new accessibility features like an audio alert that plays when notifications like selling treasure and receiving new invites pop up, the ability to see text over greater distances when using a speaking trumpet with speech to text enabled, and the ability for players to turn the text size down from the new default 1.0 to the original 0.5 default. There's also improvements to hit registration when shooting players while they are walking, running, and jumping, and a fix to the Seabound Soul Tall Tale reward as well. And from MMORPG.com, Star Citizen talks salvage in a new Q&A video. In short, salvage will be comprised of 4 components: hull scrapping, siphoning valuables, component removal, and the maw. But not exactly sure what the maw means, but anyways, valuables can include items like fuel and oxygen, whereas component removal can include things like the ship's cooler. Keep in mind, ships will need to be tweaked to allow for this. Past ships will be retrofitted with hatches and other removable components and the like to support salvaging. I think this is really cool, but I'm not gonna lie, it does feel like more feature creep. It really does. And if that's the case, we're just probably going to have to wait another 10 years for this game. Goodness. And lastly, from MMORPG.com, Temtem delays spring update until midsummer. And again, with all the other, delays that we have, it's because of this global problem that we've been having. But they do say that we assessed our prospects and came to the conclusion that the best choice would be merging the second part of the spring update with the Kiswa update. Kisiwa? Oh goodness, I'm sorry for butchering that. This means that the update will hit sometime around July, according to the blog. The update is set to include many additions, including new environments, creatures, rock climbing, and more. And this concludes today's episode of MMO and RPG News Roundup. I do appreciate if you made it with me so far. The watch time does help with the algorithms, but if you haven't done so, please consider leaving a like, subscription, and hitting the bell notification too, as those also help the channel a lot. I hope you guys continue to stay safe out there. Have a blessed night, and I will see you guys next time. Cheers again, everyone.